Okay, so I was not even going to address this issue because I am not the type of person who cares about what a person says. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Everybody can say what they want to. This is a free country. You can feel how you want to feel about anybody, and that is just the bottom line. Also, I want to preface this talk. Let me tell you what happened. I was watching a video and it was a guy. He was talking about how there's a girl who came out with a video named Nicole Aubrey, who made a video called Dear Fat People. And so I didn't know what he was talking about. So I went over to the video and she was talking about, you know, fat people and telling them how they're fat, they can't move, they can't get up, they can't do anything. She's jealous of them because they get to eat whatever they want to. And I am all for people who would like to express themselves in that way. That's their business. But I feel like you should have the facts very accurate before you go and judge other people, because you don't always know what you're talking about. You cannot know what a person goes through in a day just simply by looking at their outside appearance. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. So I just wanted to make a few points, and I just wanted to clear up a few things. Sorry about the area that I'm filming in right now. I just wanted to come in here and just make this video. She talked about how fat people get to eat anything they want to, how she's jealous that they get to eat whatever they want to. First of all, I want to say that fat people don't eat anything that they want to all the time, and if they do, that's their business. But the main thing is, no one says this when they're watching people like Matt Stoney or Matt Zion or Ken Domick eat all of this food, which are food vloggers, by the way. And no one says anything about them when they're smashing and stuffing their face with 10 times the amount of food that a person would eat in a day. Matt Stoney, no offense to him because I love him and I do watch his shows, Matt Stoney eats enough food to feed a small football team in one setting. And no one says anything about skinny people when they go and gorge themselves in food. It's when a fat person goes to sit down and have a meal that they're judged because they're eating. No one cares about a skinny person if they're eating something twice as bad. But if you're fat and you sit down and eat, you should feel guilty for just having that one little meal that you may be having. So this whole double standard thing is absolutely ridiculous, especially when we watch people engorge themselves all the time on Food Network and other places like that. Speaking of food, I also wanted to say that a lot of times people are always judgmental about how much a person eats, but they don't even think about what a person eats. Of course, you guys know me, vegan, organic, vegetarian for years, organic eating, you know, all of that stuff. You guys already know who I am. Used to be 500 pounds, lost 255 pounds with diet, exercise, and calorie counting. So this subject is kind of very close to me. So a lot of people don't care about what they're eating, but rather how much they're eating. I think it's absolutely ridiculous when you could go to a store and pick up a bag of chips or something and it has a ton of MSG, a ton of high fructose corn syrup, whatever it is. You feed it to your children, you let your kids eat it, and then you have the nerve to talk about a fat person who is just eating a normal meal or could be eating the same thing you're eating, but you're eating it too. Sometimes you need to step back and stop worrying about how much a person is eating and actually worry about what you're putting in your mouth. I might be fat, but in my refrigerator, you're gonna find organic food, you're gonna find a lot of vegetables, you're gonna find a lot of fruit, and you're gonna find some good stuff for you. When I go to the grocery store, when people look into my grocery cart, they are looking at me like, oh my, you know, so judgmental before they thought I was gonna put those Trix yogurt in my bag. No, but I opted for the Choi Bani, and I even called Choi Bani about some of the ingredients of their food. So yeah, don't always judge a person about how much they eat. Sometimes look at what they eat, because you can eat a large quantity of food as long as it's the right. Funny that she thinks that fat people are the most unhealthiest people in the world. I think that's absolutely an understatement. First of all, let's think about people who smoke cigarettes. Let's talk about people who drink alcohol. Let's talk about people who have unprotected sex. Let's talk about all these people who put themselves at risk for AIDS. And you have the nerve to say that fat people are the bane of your existence. You tell people it's okay to have a gay lifestyle. That's fine, and it is. That's their business. But that puts them at an increased risk for AIDS. And you have the nerve to talk about fat people being at increased risk for heart disease. That's fine. Heart disease is something that can be reversed if you eat, diet, and exercise and do what you need to do. But AIDS is something that is not reversible. So I don't know where this notion of being fat is like the end of the world. It's not. I know a ton of people like me who don't have high blood pressure, who don't have thyroid disease, who don't have anything, really any problems besides anemia. And you know why? It's because I don't like meat. So, you know, you really should think about who you're talking about before you go and judge people. It's absolutely ridiculous. I think that being fat fat is like the worst thing in the world, when we have people who are walking into movie theaters and shooting people and killing people, you think that being fat is like the end of the world? You stating the obvious. People who state the obvious are usually people who have nothing else going for themselves. You have a lot of YouTube subscribers, that is fine, but outside of YouTube, who are you? I just wanted to point out that some of these fat people that you're talking about are your mothers, your fathers, your sisters, your brothers, your lawyers, your doctors, your teachers, you know, your nannies, you know, your favorite people on TV. Some of these people that you're talking about are people who are very important in society. Your judges, the people who help you every single day are some of these fat people that you talk about. So when you talk about a fat person, make sure you look down your family line and make sure there's not a single fat person in there. It's so funny back in the day when I was a kid and people would talk about a fat person, and then we would turn around and see like one of their family members come in, like their mother or something, and she was like twice as big as the person they was talking about. And you just look at them like, really? Or people who say stuff about people, and then you look at the person that they're dating or that they're married to, and that's the exact person that they're attracted to. It's hilarious how people do this whole double standard because a person is fat. It's absolutely ridiculous. Also, I just want to say, if a person is fat, now we do have people that who abuse food. We have people who do that. And we have people who don't care. I know a couple of people who don't care. They eat whatever they want to eat. They don't care about themselves getting fat. They don't care about them being healthy. But you know what? All you can do as a person, if you really care about a person, is to talk to them and say, hey, you know, I think that maybe we both should change our lifestyles, or maybe we could do a little bit better. But to be honest, in the end of the day, no one is going to do anything for themselves unless they do it for themselves. There's nothing that another person can say that is going to make the person change. I, again, have no problem with people talking about fat people. That's their business. That's their tea. But when you come and you put somebody like me into that mix of people who don't care and eat whatever they want to, now hold up. Don't get it twisted. There are days when I just be like, you know what? To hell with being all healthy. I just really want to eat a slice of pizza. Or, you know, but even then, I'm like, okay, I ate a slice of pizza, so that means for dinner, I'm just going to have this. There's not a time where I'm not counting a calorie, where I'm not eating enough protein, where I'm not thinking about, you know, should I have this or should I not have this? And for somebody who was born with a good metabolism, who's able to eat whatever they want to and don't have to worry about gaining a pound, to come and tell me that I don't care, you can fuck off. It's really how I feel. You have no idea what you're talking about. And it's really, really sad because I know what I do in the daytime. And if you say, you know, so anyways, I don't want to go on rambling. This is the end of what I have to say about it. Before you judge a person, you really should make sure that you know what you're talking about. A lot of fat people are fat because they don't care. But then again, you have a lot of fat people who are fat because we just wasn't blessed with a good metabolism. You can say it how you want to say it. You can call it how you want to call it. But because of somebody else in our family genes who had a big bones or who were fat, you know, it is hereditary. You do kind of gain that whole thing. You are at risk when you have obese parents and when their history is obese. So it really should have started from the first person who was obese and carried on the tradition. And it just happens like that. I eat the small amount of food, but if I don't put in a ton of extra effort, I won't lose any weight. I'll gain more weight. And that's just eating a normal meal. That's eating 1,700 calories. So during the day, I try to eat only 1,000 calories, which is kind of starving yourself when you really think about it. And so yeah, no one can tell me that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. So I think before you tell people, dear fat people, I think you should really tell yourself, dear skinny people, and really look in the mirror, because you obviously have absolutely no self.